computer. Wow.
Got it.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
Talk to us, Stephen. Huh?
Got it.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. It's 11:04. And you got the minutes in the email, 12/16, our last meeting. And they're also posted on the website, the formal website. So I'd like a motion, we dispense with the meeting, or minutes, excuse me, not the meeting. That would be quick, wouldn't it? The minutes, and we go on to the next thing. So motion to accept the minutes as already sent.
I make a motion we accept.
Okay, second.
I'll
Aye.
second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. All right,
Aye.
wake up, everybody. I know it's the new year. All right, so they're there. You've got them. Betsy does a great job with the minutes, and they're all transcribed, and there's no details left out. All right.
That's my second.
Let's see, financial report. Connie, there's really not a lot to add because we're not taking donations, but go ahead.
Well, I haven't done anything, so.
Well, that's the amount right there in the bank. And that's because we've had a couple expenditures. It was a little higher than that. And Connie's last spreadsheet for the end of the year is basically everything matched at the end of the year, and it'll still be matched because, like I said, we're not taking donations. Except one thing I got to do, Connie, is I got to shut off those recurring donations. That's the one thing I do have to do. And once we do that, then nothing will be come in until we talk about our future and what we're going to do and where we're going. All right. So.
Well, and I know, but I'm sure that I haven't checked PayPal or Stripe.
You know what? Neither did I, to be honest with you.
So I'm guessing there might be some. I'll go check it in a little bit. I did get a check yesterday or day before, and I still have it. I was thinking about just sending it back.
Okay. Yeah, on Stripe, I started to go in and look yesterday when I was working on this. And there's one of the recurring, the JW Kindle there that gives us $10 a month. That's the only one I see. Let's see. Yeah, that's the only one in January. I didn't go on PayPal, like you said. I didn't even check that. So I have no idea. But the notification is on the Facebook page that we're not, donations are suspended and that the healthcare is suspended. Healthcare plan, Anthem GERBS healthcare plan is suspended. All right. So, and again, just so you know, things are we're very slow, very low. Donations, contributions. We only had 21 since we started at November 1st. We usually start in October for the next year. This year we started late because of the Benestar stuff. November 1st, we got 21 donations total, and only we had a $4,700 carryover from 2021, which is very low because we're usually around 7,500. So that's already low. Then $1,016, almost $1,017 in donations, 21 donations. So, I mean, when you're shooting for a budget of $15,000 in expenses, that doesn't quite make it, folks. So that's one of our big concerns, obviously, which we'll talk about in a minute. Thank God we had the supporters we did have and the people that did give at higher rates because they really kept us alive, to be honest. And then Stan and some other people went out and got donations from locals or other things, and that carried us through. And of course, our board always makes good donations. We always have right from the beginning. And all that's what kept us alive. But now we've trailed off so badly these last few years that it's not even viable anymore. Financially, it's not even viable. All right, so that's the financial report. Can I have a motion to accept the financial report, please? Anybody there?
Make a motion we accept the financial report.
I second it.
All right, all in favor? Aye.
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 All right, very good. All right, so that's the old business. Like I said, all that stuff's on the website and you got it in your email, so you can look that up if you want to. Except I got the wrong link for the, I see under the 1216, I got the wrong link. I got 9:30 under there. Oh, that's cute. Anyway. All right, so getting into new business, you know what the 4 initiatives were. One was the Benestar business relationship and going forward towards a healthcare plan. And we have suspended that. The board all agreed in our last meeting to suspend that. Ed sent him a letter. Don Trudeau responded, and I want you to see his response, folks. A lot of things they did not fulfill, as you well know. They did not give us the new website. They did not do the marketing. They didn't even start marketing until after we already were having meetings with Anthem and trying to kick this thing off. There was a lot wrong and what was going on. So the board decided that's enough. And then you got the legal innuendos, I'll call it that way, because we did do our due diligence, but about Benestar and about some legalities with the former owner. I guess he's still owner, but he was not part of the board. His wife was running the organization, I guess. So there were some charges and he did some jail time and all that. And then we started getting some grief from some of our members, as you well know. And Don Trudeau's name came up and he was, they're still considering legalities with him, which I shared all those documents with you guys. So it didn't look good, for one thing, even though we felt we did do our due diligence, but it did not look good. They were not fulfilling their agreements. And so we had Ed send them a letter, and I want to bring up Don's response to Ed's letter here. Let me see if this is the right one. I hope it is. All right, so I'm gonna open this up bigger. Can you all see that? Can you all see? Okay,
Big screen just covered it up.
I can make it a little bigger here.
A big
Ed
screen
sent him.
that blank.
I'm What's that?
This
Something
big
covered it.
screen that's in my face is blank.
Oh, okay, hold on.
Looks like the
Move it
blue
away
screen
from
of
me.
death.
Yeah,
All right,
just make
hold
it
on.
bigger.
Hold on 1 second. I gotta shut off the other one, obviously. Okay. So let me go back to down.
See it now.
You're seeing the agenda though, right?
No, that's still the email.
You're seeing the email?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. That's funny because I'm not.
part of it.
Are you seeing it now?
Yes,
Okay. All right. So Eddie sent him a thing with the attached letter and the reasons why. I'm sorry that's not included in here, but I sent it to all of you. The reasons why we were dissolving our partnership, business partnership with Benestar because they weren't fulfilling their obligations. So, and that you do have that letter, that original email on December 23rd. Now, Don wrote back, thanks for your correspondence. While I believe the attachment is inaccurate or incomplete in several respects, that may not be material to GERBS' position and are pointedly unnecessary to terminate any relationship. Materially and irrespective of GERBS' communicated position in the attached, we remain willing and able to support such an effort should that be of continued interest to us. Should anyone wish to discuss this further, we are happy to do it at a mutually convenient time. Folks, we have more meetings with them than we had with going to church, for God's sake. You know what I mean? These people, we gave them 1.5 years to get their act together and all that stuff. So, you know, him saying this is inaccurate and all the agreements that we made during those meetings that weren't necessarily signed into an agreement, which Eddie kept chasing them for that, even getting a signed agreement of what their obligations were. They never even presented that to us. So all that stuff was never fulfilled. As I am sure you appreciate, the most relevant measure that anyone should be evaluating is whether there's a pathway to positively impacting potential beneficiaries, meaning members, and then of course we get some kind of revenue out of it. If the board believes that there isn't such a pathway, or the board believes there isn't one with us as a partner, then any conversation should first focus on that. In any case, I wish you all nothing but the best in achieving the board's well-intended goals, and I personally hope for health and happiness in 2022 for all of us. So first, from a legal aspect, Eddie, I'd like you to say something about that correspondence and this response, but myself, I think we did everything we could possibly do to make this a success, and Benestar did not live up to their end. So Ed, you want to make a comment?
Sure. So in addition to the letter, I spoke to Don, and, he acknowledged that some of the things that you expected were not delivered. And, when we spoke, I in particular talked to him about the whole goal behind this effort was to enable you to reach out to more members, to get more members.
Yep.
And none of that stuff was done, including building out the website, reaching out to other GE folks across the country,
Right.
and doing that in tandem with the documents themselves and the program itself.
Right.
And then also that you still had questions and didn't know exactly how things were supposed to work. And there was a lot of cart before the horse. And he acknowledged that there was some truth to that. So, he wrote that letter to cover his rear end, just to say, well, we don't agree that we did anything wrong, but I don't think that they have any intention of, they weren't upset about the fact that this is not going forward. I think that reading between the lines, I think they probably didn't expect some of the things to happen the way that they did, and they may not have been appropriately staffed.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything you just said. And it's not like we didn't give them a chance. Meeting
Yep.
after meeting after meeting.
Yeah, no, I know. And I participated on many and waited for a very long time to get comments on things that never came, including the final compensation arrangement, because the idea was that there was going to be some revenue that would flow to the organization that would allow it to sustain itself. And that was never really nailed down despite many efforts, and it was kind of a moving target.
And that all started, if you remember, Ed, a little bit of the history, when they first suggested that there would be revenue or commission for us, it was like $15, then it went down to 12, then it went down to 10, then it was like $5. And again, we had never had an agreement, and we wouldn't have agreed to $5 as our part of the commission. We would have said, no, you promised a lot more than that. You're not going to cut us like that. And like you said, there was no written agreement either, period.
Right. And they were supposed to, and I had asked for the compensation agreement quite some time ago because I wanted to document it for you so that we had a record of it. So look, it is what it is. It's kind of weird. The one thing I want to bring to your attention is that apparently, and Don said this in a kind of funny way, he said, despite our worst efforts, we got a couple people to sign up.
Ooh.
So I'm not sure how he dealt with that. But I thought you guys should know that. And I'll follow up with him and make sure that he did resolve it.
See, now that's one thing I was afraid of, that, once we dissolved this partnership, because it never was fulfilled, never was signed, never was an agreement, never ironed all out, cart before the horse, blah, blah, that they did get a couple enrollees. And what does that do to us legally, Ed? Does that
Well, hopefully they'll re-enroll in something else and it won't do anything.
Yeah. Well, they're going to have to handle that one.
Yeah, I'll follow up on that just to make sure. that
Yeah,
they did.
because the one thing that we're going to have to find out about that is, was there an RRA involved? I would guess not, but we better find out about that, because we don't want to end up on the short end of the stick on this, or GE getting involved.
Yeah. I will follow up.
All right. So that was his response. If anybody else wants to make comments, this is the reason they didn't give us the marketing plan. They didn't give us the website. And I think I shared this with you folks before. Paul, if you remember Paul Cizzardo, his name was. He was their IT guy, tech guy that was going to do the website and the marketing, the web crawler and all that stuff. Well, they paid Paul initially. And again, please, this is board information, not to be shared on Facebook, but they paid him $40,000 up front. And I don't know what they paid him for. It's some kind of research study or something. When they asked him to develop the website and put the web crawler out there, he wanted more money. He said, no, that was just for research. You asked me to do research. So Benistar got stuck with a $40,000. Well, they paid a $40,000 bill. And then this guy wanted more money. Paul wanted more money to continue with the web crawler and the website. He said, no, that wasn't part of that original agreement. So he wanted more money. And of course, they balked. Benistar balked. You know, Benistar, Don Trudeau would have to go back to the owner and say to him, well, we need more money. So the point in the end is, we got no marketing plan and we got no web crawler, you see, and that's what would have brought in members and brought in revenue. So after all that, in many meetings, and then Ed and I had many meetings alone with them to try to nail the legal, agreements and contracts and stuff, they just did not come through. And here we are trying to get people to enroll, which was ridiculous, really. So they missed about 4 or 5 deadlines that we tried. We tried 4 or 5 times to kick this thing off. They missed a deadline
least.
4 or 5 times.
At least.
Yep. And I know some of you, Brian sent me an email with questions and I answered let me see if I can find that one, Brian. Let's see if I can get that up. And I tried to answer all those questions. I'm pretty sure I know I answered all of them. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see.
Well, in my humble opinion, I don't really see much in going forward. When they came out with a $200 premium, that just blew it out of the water. And I'm almost thinking that the 2 people or 3, whoever signed up, had to have gone for the second one and not the high premium. Who wants to spend $200 when you can get everything out there for a lot cheaper?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, Medicare Advantage, a lot of them are 0 premium and have extra benefits. The whole thing was a group plan. And I'm not defending this, believe me, at all. I think the price was way overpriced. I think they did like VIA did. I think they added a lot of money to the premium to get their big commission. I don't think it was, even though the plan was enhanced and had extras in it and the prescription side of the plan, I have to say it covered the donut hole and it covered catastrophic. So that part was good. All of that was good, but $200 worth? I don't think so. Either.
They're not completely transparent with us like we have been with them. Why don't they come out and tell us how much they're keeping for themselves?
Yeah.
And also they say we're supposed to get, kind of like a bounty, as I say it, but at the same time, they're going to charge us. Charge us what? If they charge us more than what our bounty is, we're sunk.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were not transparent, that's for sure.
No.
No, not in the least. And Ed went after him a number of times. I didn't share every single email that Ed and I did between Benistar, but in the meetings we had and constantly asking him for stuff like that. Where's this contract agreement between us and you and the commission and everything else, that was supposed to be done. And they never respond. So for him Don Trudeau to say it's inaccurate or he takes exception to it is bullshit, plain and simple, folks. Really. So here's some of the questions, we'll talk about payment to Eddie here at the end of this, but and a lot of you already responded and said yes, but some wanted to discuss that more. And I'm not going to.
Just let me know and I'll just drop off the call at that point.
That's what I was going to say. At the end of this, when we get done with the main part of the agenda, Ed, and then I'll ask you to leave and we'll have that discussion.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So you can see the revenue breakdown, and that's one of the reasons, folks, and one of the things we cannot continue. We cannot stay viable without income, not as a nonprofit. Do we want to dissolve as a formal nonprofit? Do we want to go into Eddie's organization as a subchapter like we were looking in the beginning between Protect Seniors and CWA? So that we could be more viable and stay in a formal nonprofit status, or do we just want to be a Facebook page? I've been doing this. You guys know that have been with me from the beginning. I've been doing this for, actually, it's going on the 8th year, and I, you know what, it's trailed off so badly that they don't see the value added that we try to do, the advocacy. The activism, the solutions that we tried to offer are speaking up for them with GE at the spring meeting and the fall meeting and the share owners meeting and the petitions and the research and the stuff we did, being involved in the lawsuits and now with the pension de-risking, and even that webinar and seminar we did to keep them aware that GE's already done 4 strategies and they're moving forward. GE was very clear when they announced the breakup of GE into 3 businesses. They were very clear that the doors open to more possibilities on financial considerations, including, they didn't say specifically, but including the pension plans. So everybody, listen, we don't know. We asked them specifically. We said, where is the retiree healthcare, or where is the pension going? What business is going to be holding that? Or is it going to be multiple businesses? How is that going to affect us? And they said they don't have those answers yet, and they will have those answers in the future. But in my opinion, they will continue pension de-risking. They want those bottom lines for those 3 breakup businesses, healthcare, aviation, and energy, to be profitable so that they can put them on the stock market and all that stuff, So they want them to be profitable. And if the pension is a burden, financially, it's a burden to them, they want to de-risk it and get rid of it, plain and simple. They want to get rid of retiree benefits, folks. Let's face it, the facts here. So, that we tried to offer things like that, advocacy, activism, solutions. Like the healthcare, we tried to offer a solution. Pensions, we brought Ed in. Ed and us, we did the de-risking webinar. Of course, we took a lot of heat. We were exaggerating and all the other crap that they wanted to say. And of course, the other retiree chapters say, you're exaggerating this stuff. You're panicking people, blah, blah, blah. Well, they did 4 strategies, folks, and they're going to do more. Whether people believe it or not. Ed, I know you probably totally agree with what I'm saying.
No, 100%. They're planning to do more. And you can see that the trend in corporate America is to kick retirees to the curb.
Yep.
And so whenever they can get off risk, they're going to do it. And the PBGC premiums continue to go up. And the amount that GE pays is quite substantial.
Yep.
So it's all about money.
Yep. Bottom line, that's what it always is with GE. So, hey, we offered stuff. We offered value-added stuff, folks. We were, I think, organized in a way as a nonprofit to be able to do that. Yes, that means we created expense. Like liability insurance to protect ourselves, but other expense that added up to about $14,000. We only asked for $24 a year per member. And it's just trailing off, as you can see by the numbers here, where it's ridiculous now at this point. $2 a month? Are you kidding? So we have to make the decision. Do we want to stay as a nonprofit formally? Do we want to jump over into Ed's organization, Retirees for Justice? We talked about that, and I think a lot of people were in favor of that. And not dissolving what would be a subsidy under Retirees for Justice. And Ed, you were going to do some work on that too, to check that all out legally.
Yeah, it's really not a problem at all. It just has to be disclosed as to what, the affiliation is. So once that gets formalized, You just have a separate place on the website, and then you can keep it however you want it. You can be completely independent and contained, and you can have links, or you could be, right integrated into the middle. It's completely up to you. It's just a matter of, the way I look at it is disclosure.
Okay. Okay.
So it's
So,
really up in terms of what you want. The timing is kind of important because there is, with all these things, there's lead time. But once you have it, decide kind of what you want to do, I'm sure we can figure out a way to make it work.
okay.
How much is it very expensive for you to maintain your nonprofit status now that you're up and running?
We have to do the liability, we have to do yearly tax returns, and they have an account, we have to do IRS stuff, and state of Kansas, we have to do a report every year. Of course, there was the website cost, which are, the big costs were website, our research materials like Survey Monkey and stuff like that. There was a lot of things we did that other organizations don't do. So there was added costs, but the big ones were liability insurance and website were probably.
And how many members do you think you have?
I'm sorry?
How many active members do you have?
Okay, on Facebook, we have 2,500, I'd say 1,700 of them are active at the highest point. There's 1,700 are active. On our formal website, where we try to get them to migrate it from Facebook over to the formal, was 770. That's what we're up to, 770 members over there. Of course, we were hoping to grow that, and we were hoping to add these benefits as we have discussed here.
Right.
To entice them to go over to the formal website and give us a donation. That's what we were trying to do. We've been trying for years to do that.
Got
So
it.
if you want a number, I'll say a fair number in between the two is probably, let's say 1,000. If you that are active and that might be willing to even give a donation. Well, 140 or 21 donations so far this year isn't too good, Ed.
Right. No, I understand.
Yeah. Last year was 141, which was a trail up. Our highest year was individual donations. I'll say group donations, stuff like that was back when we were doing the lawsuits, was like 250 people. And it was quite a bit of money, that we had in our hands at that time. But then the board did a big deal of it too. The board did a tremendous amount of donations in those years. We weren't even the board at that time, but right now we're down to 21 and $1,000 and a $4,700 carryover, which is, used to be around 7,500. That's not looking good. But membership wise, I'd say 1,000, 1,500, which we were hoping to grow. Brian, did that answer all the questions you had?
Well, yeah, most of them.
Okay.
I've got questions about how we're going to survive, but we can discuss that later on when you get done with this.
Yeah.
One concern I do have right now is yesterday you did post to the group about dissolving, the plans and this and that. And I wish you hadn't have done that until we talked today.
Yeah.
A prime example is you said, or somebody said that there's been 2 or 3 people who've bought one of the plans. And now they're going to see your comment and shoo, they're going to panic.
Well, I already got, that's a good point. I got one, actually it was a Facebook message, individual, private. And they said, what's this mean as far as my enrollment in Anthem? And I said, well, wait a minute now, because people are confused, see. They enrolled.
Yeah, there may be a situation, the stuff may be able to get ported. I agree with it would have been better to have it done differently. We got to deal with where we're at though, right? So let me find out what we can do about those 2 people.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and we'll try and
the other one I'm talking about, Eddie, is a person private messaged me. They signed up for Anthem through via benefits, and they're confusing it with what we were offering. And so I said to that person, you're fine. You're still enrolled in your plan. Don't worry about it.
Okay, great. Yeah.
That was,
All right.
that was separate from those other 2 that Don told you about.
Yeah, but I'll try and get back to you by tomorrow about those two, just so we don't let it sit.
Yeah. So, let me go back to the agenda here, folks, and, get this back up. Okay, so that was been a start, the membership and growth, you understand all that. There's, you know, it's been nil, again, 2,500, but 1,700 active on Facebook, trying to get them over. Healthcare was another enticement. We have 770. We did grow by about 30 or 40 or somewhere in there on our formal website, but the donations have dropped right off. So you understand all that membership growth. Part of the idea of adding value added benefits like healthcare was to increase that revenue, increase the membership growth. Because of poorly handled by Menistar and everything else, that kind of really threw a wrench into the works here. And their little arguments amongst themselves and Paul and all that stuff. The marketing plan, of course, never happened. So, you know, how's the membership going to come in? You understand that. That was another big initiative. That web crawler and all that stuff, and reaching out to, as Ed said earlier, other chapters and other organizations, retiree organizations all across the country. All that stuff went by the wayside here. Didn't happen. And I gave them a whole marketing plan from beginning to end of resources. And then the pension de-risking, which is always going to be a concern and a priority, which is going to go on. And as I already explained, GE is not going to stop. They're not going to stop. People can say we're blowing it out of proportion or exaggerating, but I'm telling you, it's not going to stop. They wouldn't. The only answer they would give is we're considering all financial concerns or situations, or, you know, so that they didn't say, no, we're not going to do de-risking. Of course they did, because they're gonna.
Well, they already did.
Yeah, they already did 4 times. And what makes our retirees think that they aren't? And then say we're exaggerating, blowing it out. And GE is not saying they're taking our pension. You de-risk and you send it over to annuity, it changes the whole ball game. The whole ball game is, as Ed explained in our webinar, changes the whole game, folks. Where the money's being held, are you under state mandates? You lose recent PBGC protections, you know, all that stuff is a consideration. We go out of the picture and there's nobody doing stuff like we're doing it. There isn't legal representation in that area, meaning Ed and his expertise. And we aren't a viable organization to stand up for our retirees in this area after we already tried with healthcare, do it in this area. And the retirees are all, using Ed's term, kicked to the curb. You know, they want us to die and go away. Let's be honest. That's what they want. They want us to die and go away. 20 years, we'll all be gone. They won't have a thing to worry about. Put it that way, but that's the truth, folks.
Well, that's what's going to happen next year when they become independent companies.
Yeah.
They are going to de-risk our pensions, and they are going to do away with RRA.
Yep.
We don't have a voice in the national contracts. GE does not care about retirees.
No corporations do. I don't know if you guys have been following what's gone on recently. AT&T just took away most of the life insurance for their
That's the
retirees.
other thing to do.
Wow.
And Corteva, which was spun off from DuPont, also took away all of the life insurance, including contributory policies that people paid into via pension deduction for decades.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yes.
See?
And that was post spin-off. So the MO is spin the company off and then have the new company say, well, we looked at other people our size and nobody's doing life insurance benefits anymore, so we're taking it away.
Right.
And once the spin-off happens, you can't go back at the former corporate execs.
See that? That's
So-
a good point right there.
I think what I do, if you don't mind, I'll give you kind of my take on where things sit now for retirees and what
Sure.
I think is unfortunate. And then I think I should sign off and let you guys talk about, you know, your options
Right.
with on, if you don't mind.
Yep.
I just think it would be better. But where I sit right now, I can't think of a better time to be a retiree advocate. Although at the same time, it's very difficult because a lot of the concerns like de-risking involve things that haven't happened yet. You can see them coming down the pike, but since they haven't happened, it makes it really difficult to point to something tangible. And in the courts, it makes it difficult sometimes to get relief. One of the requirements that you butt up against when you sue under ERISA for breach of fiduciary duty is the ability to show current economic harm. Now, if someone transfers your pension to a group annuity contract, that may put you at substantial risk, but the courts to date have said that doesn't amount to current economic harm, and therefore you don't have standing to sue under Article 3 of the United States Constitution, so you don't even get there. And while that's frustrating, that's why there's a need for advocacy, both to change the laws at the state level and hopefully to even amend ERISA to make the fiduciaries responsible for the retiree benefits that were promised many, many years ago.
Right.
And I think that the groundswell of support that's out there, it's just a matter of how to tap into it. And that's what I've been racking my head trying to figure out. And so, we are looking to push forward very aggressively this year with some state initiatives and also to amend ERISA. And the third prong of it that's important is to shed light on this so the public knows about it. And it's a challenging message, but that's what's important because we're talking about billions and billions of dollars and the safety and security of the retirees and their families.
Yep.
So, on the one hand, it's difficult and challenging. On the other hand, more and more people are retiring every day. So there is a big pool to go after, and that's what we hope to do. You guys shown a lot of leadership and a lot of smarts in figuring a lot of these issues out. So, my hope is that you'll continue to be actively involved no matter what form it takes, because if you don't look out for retiree issues, I got to tell you, there's not a lot of people who are, and there's not a lot of people who understand them and have the perspective to kind of make it an issue and make some noise about it. And I can guarantee if you don't do anything, retiree benefits will just be eroded to the point where they don't even exist anymore.
Yep, I agree. And I want to make a point to when you talk about sticking together and advocacy and activism, we have the capability, and this is what we were shooting at. 250,000 retirees out there. That's a big voice if you can get all those people engaged. 150,000 coming out in the future. Now, part of what we were trying to do by being these advocates and making a formal organization and fighting the healthcare lawsuits and now this pension de-risking, and I totally agree, life insurance are attacking too, big thing. That would get these people interested. But instead, what we're getting is this lackadaisical, it's not really going to happen. No, we're not going to pay you nothing. Other organizations do it for nothing. And it's just like, really? It's discouraging.
Yeah, I understand why you're discouraged. All I'm saying is somebody who's a retiree advocate, I think you guys have done a lot of good. And I think that your commitment to the cause is great, and I don't think you should stop. And that's, obviously partly for selfish reasons, because in order to be effective, you need constituents to tell their legislators that they're not happy with what the law is doing to them. And they're not happy about corporate America taking away their earned benefits and talking about what you traded for your retirement benefits and why it's unfair to take them away after the fact.
Yeah.
That you built or the work that you did. That's
Not my dog.
Who's that? Your dog, Connie?
Oh, no, mine is laying here all nice and quiet.
Nice and quiet. Anyhow, I just wanted to say, don't think that your efforts were for naught, because the advocacy is important. The activism is important. It's not easy to mobilize retirees who are all over the place with different kind of agendas, different lives, different families, and all that. It's difficult.
Yeah.
But what you're doing is important, and I hope that I can continue working with you guys for a long time.
All right. All right. Well, we appreciate it. And we definitely see you as an added benefit to our organization. That's for sure, since you've come on board.
Okay, so I'll take care of this Benestar stuff and I'll keep you posted. And you guys all know how to reach me. Feel free to reach out at any time. I've got a little bit of a jammed afternoon, but I'm around, late in the evening, all day tomorrow. We need to do something quick.
All right. Thanks.
All
Thanks, Ed.
Good luck. Bye-bye, guys.
All
Happy
right.
New Year.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Happy New
Eddie.
Year, buddy.
No problem. Happy New Year to all.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Take
Thank you.
care. All right. So let's go down to this, discussion here, folks. We talked about the fundraising already, where we're at with that. The group healthcare plan, we already talked about dissolving that because Benestar hasn't lived up to it. Sadly, because that should have been, but price wise and everything else, we all have our reasons why. And I gave you all the facts about Benestar and what they did not live up to, including contractual legal stuff, and Ed is here too. So we need to decide what our future is going to be. Where are we going to be? Are we going to be GERBS? As Ed offered, we could be an independent nonprofit entity under Retirees for Justice. We'd be a subsidy under Retirees for Justice. Well, we'd still be a subsidy even if we're independent. Or we could, do we want to just be a Facebook presence? These are the choices here. Or formal website presence. If we join up with Ed's organization, have a separate page on his organization, keep Facebook going. As he said, there's many things to consider for the future. Taking the RRA away for healthcare, that's probably coming. Pension risk, de-risking, that's probably coming. Life insurance, I already started with that too. I hear the people writing all the time about their things going up and whether they can keep affording to keep their life insurance. So GE's new structure, that's another consideration. How it's going to affect us in the future. We know it's not going to be good. You know that. I mean, I'm not exaggerating nothing. You guys know. We've been in the trenches fighting these battles for 8 years. And you know how GE thinks. The bottom line is money to them. They don't give a crap about us. Like Ed said, we all say this, don't we? How many times have we said we earned our benefits? We gave our time. Many, many years, myself 42, the rest of you, I don't know, whatever you got. But you earned your benefits and they promised you those benefits would be there when you retired and long after for the rest of your life. And now they're taking them away. That's not fair. So what do we want to do? And of course we got to talk about authorizing the $2,500 payment to Ed. So
Well,
floor's open.
I, for one, would like to be absorbed into the Retirees for Justice. And I remember a conversation several months back when Ed came on board. He said he would welcome us into it, but he also wanted us to keep seeking donations.
Yeah.
So my question is, if we go into Retirees of Justice, how are we going to solicit donations? What are we offering to make them or entice them to join up?
It's a good question.
I mean, people expect when you offer something for sale, they want something back in return. And
Right.
So what are we going to give them?
Well, at this point, without healthcare, we're doing active advocacy and activism where it still would be involved with the GE meetings in the spring and fall and the share owners and raising our concern and voices about, what they're doing with the benefits, whether it's pensions or taking the RRA away or the life insurance away and being advocates. But to get the money from the people, that's the difficult part, Brian. I don't know how the hell we're going to get the people interested in giving anything. They seem to get worse and worse. And we're getting into, what we're getting into too. Everybody knows this, and I hate to have to keep repeating it, but there's some politics going on here, and there's some rivalry shit going on here. And them turning around accusing us on our integrity, or they're accusing us of we're making money. It's all bullshit. You people all know it's all bullshit, that they do it for free and we're charging, they don't charge, and they do all this stuff for free for them. Well, what they don't state in that, which I've said many times, is they have backing. A lot of them have backing. Those retiree chapters all have backing from their unions. We don't have any backing. Our only backing is we have to go out and solicit donations. That's the only way we get revenue to be able to do these things. They have revenue. They have budgets with their unions. Is that?
Bob, but you gonna say something?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys are ready for me.
Yeah. Go.
How much does the Facebook cost us?
Doesn't cost us anything.
Yeah. It doesn't cost us anything.
So there's no cost.
No.
No,
And if we
Not
join
per-
this other thing with Eddie, what's that going to cost?
it's not gonna cost us anything as far as I know, unless we
Yeah.
dissolve and give him what assets we have.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. If we wanted to support Retirees for Justice, say for legislative things or something like that, and they asked us for out of our budget for some kind of donation, Bob, I would say that we would vote as a board to give them $100 or $200 or whatever.
It seems to me if we join this other group,
Yeah.
with Eddie, and we keep our Facebook page on our nonprofit, and we could have Eddie's group get us some really nice things to post, say once a week or once a whatever. So often we get them spread out over all of our people that come in. That's 2,200 people. We're still helping quite a bit.
Yeah.
And we can still, I don't see why we can't
Good point.
have GoFundMe's or
We-
however they do it on Facebook to get donations when people want to give. I don't see anything wrong with continuing a nonprofit like that and using it to help, still help the retirees, and the Facebook page doesn't cost anything.
No.
We can come up with stuff to put on there that's going to help. And we
Right.
get Eddie's guys to give us something. It's going to be very pertinent because those guys are in business. And the more people that we post postings for Eddie's group that can give them a chance to join that group or join on there with us
Yeah.
and be in our group on there, and hopefully get some donations for Eddie's group.
That's true.
All we gotta do is just link it. Like, if you think
Yeah.
this is a good article, why don't you join Retirees for Justice and just keep a link there all the time?
There you go.
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. Put snippets out there in the Facebook that will drive them into the website. Exactly.
If we have a thing where you do postings, I've noticed a lot of people's doing this, where they put up there, go to here and read the full, here's a nice article about this,
Yeah.
and go click on this
Thanks.
link and go and look at the entire article,
Yep. Yep.
where we could put them right on Eddie's website. Through,
Yes.
through by putting snippets up every so often.
Yep.
It just seems like a nice way for everybody to work, and it shouldn't cost us a lot of expense. I don't know how much that insurance costs, but
Yeah, the liability insurance is $2,100. If we were doing that, when we were originally, I'll tell you how this all came about with liability insurance. Once we started talking about getting into, Gary Poland was our vice president at the time. And once we started talking about getting into health insurance and all that kind of stuff, he said, "Oh no, I ain't gonna be on no board unless we're gonna have liability insurance." And we all agreed with it. We didn't want to put ourselves out there and get sued without having insurance coverage. Now, we're not offering health insurance anymore. And what are we offering that possibly would get us sued? I don't really see anything, to be honest with you. So why would we even have to carry that going forward? So that's one big expense is gone. The other one
Well,
is the
we also-
website. I'm good. So
We
go ahead.
we also got it because we have a benefits advocate who was
Oh, that's
doing
right. Yes.
a lot of the
right.
stuff. And we were concerned that a retiree would get pissed off if they didn't like how she helped them or whatever. And
Right.
so honestly, I think we got it mainly for the benefits advocate.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Really,
That's true.
I wasn't
Initially,
even
yes,
sure, I
you're
thought.
right. That is true. You're absolutely right. And the other cost there, Connie's right about that. That was originally with the benefits advocate. And then after we started talking to and Gary called it, what the hell did he call us? He called us, he had a name for us. We're becoming, we're becoming like via benefits or something, but that wasn't the name he used.
I don't know. I don't remember either.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but anyway, the other big cost is the website. And if we go into Eddie's website, we, as a group, we should contribute towards that cost if we're even a subsidy, you know what I'm saying? But we do that by donation, as Bob said. There is a way to collect donations off Facebook versus off, but if we have a page or a formal pages on Eddie's Retiree for Justice, we could still have a financial page. We could still do that for donations, but we could do it on Facebook, as Bob said too. We could do it on Facebook very easy. There is a spot where you can set up for donations there.
But what does that gain us other than just having to transfer the money over to Ed's group? And why not just let the retirees go to his group and then they donate right there? Because I mean, won't it ask where they're retired from? And then they'd be able to, whoever does their finances can figure that out.
Yeah, that's true, Connie, except for the fact that what I'm thinking about is, and we probably have to talk to Eddie more about this, but if we're going to be an independent nonprofit as a subsidy in his group, that's one thing. If we're just joining his group as, we're joining as members of Retirees for Justice, not GERBS, that's a different situation. So then you make the donations directly to Retirees for Justice. But if we're going to keep the GERBS name so that we can still stay interactive with GE as an independent nonprofit, then we need I would think we need our own financial budget, donations.
It doesn't mean that people are going to give us any more money now than if they
No.
just send it directly to his, and it would just be,
Yeah.
I mean, we could still be part of their group.
Yeah. Oh, we could. Yeah. He said we could do it one way or the other. We could stay an independent nonprofit. Or we just join up with his group, or, the independent nonprofit would be a subsidy under him.
Well, I don't see why we can't do it that way, but people still just send the money paid directly to them, because bottom line, we're going to wind up sending all the donations we get to their finance people anyways. So, I mean, we're just like,
Yeah, we need to,
guys,
I'm going to ask Eddie legally how we really need to do it. I agree with you. It should be all right either way, or the donation just go to Retirees for Justice. What does that mean as we keep our certification, or whatever the hell you want to call it, licensure, with IRS in Kansas? What does that mean? There's some legal things here that I'm not so sure about. And remember what I told you, if you're talking about dissolving, you got to notify the IRS, and you can only give the money, whatever's left. You can only give it to another nonprofit. That's why Retirees for Justice is another nonprofit. We certainly can do that.
Here we go. Let's do it.
All right. So, well, that's a suggestion right now. I mean, let's say first question is, do we want to join Retirees for Justice? Let's do the yays and nays here, running it down. Bob, yes or no?
I'm already a member, but yeah, so that
Okay.
makes me a yay.
Okay. Connie, yes or no?
Yeah.
Betsy, yes or no?
Okay, yes, I guess.
Okay. Brian, yes or no?
I'm like Bob, I contribute to his organization, so it's a yes.
Okay. Rodney, yes or no?
Same here. Yes.
All right. All right. Second thing is, do we want to stay, we want to be a subsidy of him, but yet still an independent nonprofit entity? I'm going to call it both. I'm going to call it a subsidy and independent nonprofit entity. So again,
How's that going to work? How's that going to work for donations? We're going to ask for donations for us to help support us. And then we're also going to ask them to send money to Eddie's group to support them. Or we can.
yeah, that's the part we're not clear on, Connie. Right now, I'm just talking about organizational structure, where we're going to be. I'm not talking about the financial part of this thing right now.
Well, don't you think that kind of goes hand in hand, because we got to figure out how.
Yeah.
I think we could probably still have our Facebook thing and get donations every now and then without being a nonprofit. I wouldn't see why you couldn't. For a cause, like donate
I
for a
just
cause. Or
keep the
donate.
Facebook page and say any donations you want to make, do it to
People do it
retirees
all
for
the time.
justice, as they're backing our cause.
Yeah.
And then we're just untie all these strings.
I don't see why we can't still be a group under their group for our people, so that we could still talk about
Right, I'm sure they
and
represent a lot of people.
all the other stuff, huh?
All right. Well, Connie's bringing up a point about, our being an independent nonprofit entity, GERBS, that's our name, GE Retiree Benefit Solutions, GERBS. So it doesn't disrupt our interaction with GE at the fall and spring meeting and share owners and having a direct line, and Brian as a benefits advocate. We don't want to lose that, is that, what I'm saying?
Yep.
As far as financially, that's a different consideration. Donations either go to us and we give a donation to Retirees for Justice every so often, or the donations go directly to Retirees for Justice. We can do it on Facebook. We could do it on the page, whatever. They have a link for their donations on Retirees for Justice, which some of you have already given. Bob and Brian have already given. So we know that.
My thought on this is, let's keep GERBS as it is, still solicit contributions to us, and then maybe make a semi-annual or an annual donation to Retirees for Justice.
That's a good idea. Because we would be saving liability insurance and website costs. So we'd have money to be able to do that, as long as people give us some money.
That was my next concern. We're going to give Ed 2,500. I don't know when the insurance is due. That's another 2,100. That about busts us, doesn't it?
Yeah, unless we open back up for donations. Yes.
Right.
Can we cancel our insurance and get a rebate back, a refund back? I mean,
I don't know about that, Connie, because it's
you can get it on any other kind of insurance. So
yeah.
That depends.
Who wears depends.
Who has the contract? Who has the contract on the insurance?
Oh geez, come on. Dane, what's the name of the organization? Connie, you remember their name?
yeah, I can't.
I'm blank too right now.
We should have got a certificate of coverage.
We do. We have it on our website. We do.
It's just in the garage, and
I can get on there and look at it if it's on the website.
Yeah, it's through a national company, but Dane and what is the name of the or
I can't think of his name either.
I know it. Oh my God, Dane Sutherland with the hold on. Now
I know it's going to go to my email.
It's going to drive me nuts until I figure this out. Hold
That's
on.
going to be a short drive, but okay.
Oh, that would be.
Look at that.
Good.
Senior moments. Don't you just love them?
I know it. Yeah, let me look here. I'll find it, folks. Oh my God. Can you imagine?
Why don't you just let me go and read that? And
Well, we're trying to find it. But we don't, I
Yeah.
would.
Oh, I
online.
was gonna say, if it ain't there, then I can't find it.
Yeah, well, I mean, but I can send you a copy of it.
All right, either
Hold
way,
on. Hold on a second. Let me. Oh my God. Where's this freaking email?
All right, I brought it up.
But you
Yeah,
did
no
bring it?
kidding. I'm gonna smack you. I'm gonna go to Arc City and take care of you.
You can't find me, I'll run.
Oh,
I will find you.
Yeah, no doubt.
why can't I find his freaking email? You gotta be kidding me. Eberts and Harrison is the name of
There
the
you go.
broker insurance company. Dane is our agent, but our policy is with a company like National or something like that. It's a nationwide policy. It's a national or something. I'd have to look it up, to be honest with you.
there's
But
only,
it is on the website too. Just so
there's
you,
probably only 17 or 1,800 companies now, so.
yeah,
But it's in our website, you say, John?
yes, it is. It
So
is
you can find it there, Bob.
an important
All right.
document. It is there.
And then I'll let you guys know what I find out.
Okay, yeah. So can we cancel that or not cancel that? Will we need that? I think that's another question we need to make sure with Eddie that we're safe on that, because Brian is still be the benefits advocate. And even though we won't have health insurance, maybe we still want to keep a policy. I'm just thinking out loud, Connie,
But Brian's not taking control. The retirees that he helps are not his puppets.
True.
He just gives them the information. He doesn't go crazy and telling them that they have to do this, that, and the other.
Yeah, he directs them, gives
Yeah,
them
there you go.
resources. Yeah.
Yeah. They're not
So-
his puppets.
You never know with these crazy people, what they sue you for. Of course, I don't see it as the biggest threat as Gary Pullen used to see it myself personally, but
I never thought it was important, but y'all did, so I'm like, whatever.
Brian, how you feel about it? You're the benefit advocate.
Well, I mean, as far as the advocate goes, I mean, I don't have, a whole lot of business. I mean, the last thing I got was a lady PM me wanting to know who to send a check to. That's probably what Connie has right now.
Yeah,
When people do
Yeah.
contact me, it's like I'm the puppet and they pull the strings wanting to know, what are you going to do?
yeah,
I never give them any advice on what to do. I direct them to where they can go to find the information that they need. And that's it. I'm not going to put myself out there.
Mm-mm.
well, we were just hoping that you would be willing to give up your house and car and boat.
I think my wife would have something to say to you.
She probably, I hope she ain't listening. She'd be swearing at me by now.
Oh, she's gone right now, and you better be thankful.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead. Who was it? All right, so let's see. So basically, let's talk to Eddie about the donations, which way we want to do that. We'll talk to him about that before we finalize that piece. Staying an independent entity, how does everybody feel about that? I say we have to be an independent chapter under him or subsidy under him to keep the interaction with GE. I say that's the way it has to be, myself.
Well, you also need to find out about liability. I mean, does one require it and the other doesn't? We need to find that out.
Yeah,
We positively have to keep the liability.
right.
Maybe he has it, maybe we would have it under his. if he
Yeah,
has it.
it's a good question or good concern there, Connie. Yeah, well, I got to talk to Ed, see if he's got
Yeah.
liability insurance and all that shit. We'll definitely keep the Facebook going. The formal website looks like it'll be part of Ed's. As long as everybody's already agreed to that, we're going under Ed, right? So that saves that cost.
Okay, but how long are we going to do this? How long are we going to keep active our website?
Well, until we get all switched over and make sure we got all our T's crossed and I's dotted with Ed and legally, we got to keep
what-
that.
What's the
You're not
monthly
gonna take
cost?
our whole website over, are you?
No, probably not. The whole website's gonna go over
Yeah,
there.
that's a lot. I don't think he,
No,
I don't,
No, he's
don't
not
see it
gonna.
as necessary for one thing.
Yeah, no. Brian, you want to say something else?
I just want to know what is our cost for the website monthly?
Oh, geez, it probably, I'm gonna say it was close to 3,000 with maintenance, somewhere in there,
A
2,500.
month? Oh, is that annual?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That was it. The website and the liability were our big costs. And then you had Survey Monkey, you had Zoom. Those cost probably another 500, 750 in that range. Geez, I didn't present the tentative budget at this point because I didn't know where we were going and what we're doing, but I have it all broke down. It's very easy to see our costs by looking at Connie's spreadsheet. You just look under expenses, you see all our costs in there. For the
Can
year.
we just get rid of Survey Monkey?
Yeah, Survey Monkey, well, unless we
Never
wanted to
used
do
it.
something more de-risking, but then we could probably buy it
Their
for,
link.
yeah, one session or something like that,
I
or,
think they have some free survey things, if I'm not mistaken. I can
Yeah.
check that, but
yeah,
Also,
On-
weekly, I get an email on a stat counter. It shows how many people have visited the website and where they go.
right.
Is that costing us anything?
Yeah, that's like $89 a year. That's called Stack Counter. That was for us to keep track of people signing up, what pages they were going to and all that stuff,
All right.
see
we
how
need
they
it?
were responding. Well, if we're gonna dissolve this thing, we probably don't need it. If we go over to Eddie's site, we don't need it. We could cancel that too. Yeah,
I think Google has quite a few freebies.
they do. They do. And
For
there was
nonprofit.
some that I had on there originally, but then we found Stack Counter and we thought for $89 a year was pretty reasonable. But we were also getting the donations at that point.
I think maybe Zoom, you can get meetings, you can have meetings on Zoom for free, but I think they got to be limited to 30 minutes. I'm thinking that's what it is.
It
Yeah.
used to be an hour, so I don't know if it,
It might be an hour, but I'm thinking it's 30 minutes, 35
Good.
minutes to give
I
the,
can look at, there's quite a few of those things out there now because of all this pandemic.
Right. I think Google has a meeting thing. I think Microsoft Teams, I don't know what they charge.
I was just looking at those yesterday or day before, and maybe I can go back and find that and look.
Yeah. All right, Bob, why don't you check that out and see what the cost is and the minutes they allow and blah,
I'll see if
blah.
I can find the freebie.
All right.
I like that cost.
That's a good cost, yeah. All right, let's see. So we got to talk to Ed. We got to resolve some things about liability and legality and us being a subsidy, an independent subsidy, and the reasoning behind that and the language that has to take place. And of course, that all affects, as Brian brought up, affects us, our date, if you will, of shutting down our formal website and being already on his and being all set up and all that jazz. So, which is going to take some work. So,
hey, John,
yeah,
what if you're thinking that we still need some donations for our group?
yeah,
Well, what if we got the donations, let's say we ask for $25 like we have been,
yeah,
and then we give his group $25 or $15 or half of that, $12.50, and we keep the $12.50, but they also become a member of his group as well.
I was thinking the same thing. Thank you.
all right.
Great minds think alike.
What is the, Brian or Bob, what is the basic membership over on his group? Is it any amount?
25.
It's, yeah,
Which group?
Retirees for Justice.
Oh, on Eddie's group?
Yeah,
I'm not
I
sure
like
if it's a minimum. I just donated it a check.
I think I gave 25, but
I think it's
can't remember.
25 what they asked.
okay. So what you're saying, Connie, is we get 25 from our people, we keep $12.50 and he gets $12.50. That's what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah. But they
Yeah.
also become members of that group too.
Yeah, that way they become members of both groups. Yeah. That's probably
That's
good.
a good idea.
Yeah, it is a good idea. And I'm gonna write it down, half to us, half to Eddie. I'm gonna talk to him about it and see how he feels about it.
Well, John, it's just like ours. It's a donation type thing. It's not, I mean,
Right.
it's joined, it's free, so.
Well, that's true. It's a voluntary donation. It is over there. They can join without making a donation. I do believe, yeah.
Yeah, we can't mandate a donation in order to get into his website. We can't do
Right.
that.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Okay, so I think we covered those points. Obviously, the pension thing is still always going to be a concern, so that's another reason for us to stay together and advocates and activism in that area with GE. And then the last thing is payment for Eddie for services already rendered. My
Yes.
recommendation was 2,500 because he's done a ton of work for us and hasn't been compensated. Well, he did get one check for 1,500 way back, but he's done a lot more work. So that's my recommendation. Does anybody have concern about that?
No,
Sounds good.
I just would like to add that my father was a criminal defense attorney. So I asked him, with everything that Ed's been doing, what would he have charged if he was in this position? And he said easily 15,000.
Oh, yeah.
So 2,500 is nothing. And I'm for that 100%.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I agree too, because, Eddie did make the comment. He said, and I think he said it to the whole group the last time, if I remember correctly. That isn't his regular fee. It's a lot more than
Right.
what we're getting.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Here's-
so he's been
Here's
giving
what
us.
my only, here's
Go
what
ahead.
my only concern was, before we had this discussion, is that if we were going to dissolve, I personally felt that anybody who had given us donations from September to today should get reimbursed, and that would have been a approximate total of $1,400, between $1,400 and $1,500 from
Yeah.
September to now. And so I wanted to make sure that if we were going to dissolve that, I just felt that these people should get their money reimbursed.
You can't do that under IRS law. You can't.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not
You
sure.
can't
can do
refund
that.
money to the membership. You got to give it to another nonprofit. That's the way it reads, kind of. I already checked that out. Yeah, because I felt the same way. They're giving, all of a sudden we're dissolving. They deserve to get their money back, but the rules are pretty clear. You
Well, how
can't
would
do
they
it.
know if because all of it is through PayPal, or most of it is through PayPal and Stripe, and all you do is hit a refund. I mean, we've had to refund people before.
Oh, yeah.
because-
But if we're dissolving, then all of a sudden all the money disappears. Who's going to explain to IRS what we did
I
with it?
think if we dissolve, we should probably not dissolve until next year anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Why not?
yeah,
Why
'cause
next
I don't want to
year?
get the wrath of all these people who just donated
Yeah,
60, 70, $100. I don't want to, I'll be taking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, right now, we're not talking about dissolving anyway. We're talking about becoming.
Well, we were a little bit ago.
Well, yeah, we were talking about it, sure. But
Okay,
now
so
we're
that's-
talking about joining Ed's group, right?
Yeah.
That's what everybody
And that's
decided.
why I wanted to wait till we had this discussion.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Okay, so is everybody happy with what we decided there? Let me take the vote. Let's do this so it's official. Starting with Rodney, you're in favor of $2,500 payment to Ed.
Yes, sir.
Bob,
yes.
Connie,
Absolutely.
Brian,
Absolutely.
Betsy.
Yes.
All right, Betsy said she'll pay it
Don?
right out of her bank account. She just said that. Y'all heard her.
John, what about you?
Oh, I'd give him 25
Oh, you don't
bucks.
have to vote.
Oh.
That's right,
I
you're
don't. You
president.
already outvoted me anyway. You got the majority. So that's passed. Very good, folks.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll mail him a check today.
All right, very good. So everybody happy here? We got some questions to answer. We'll bring it to Eddie at the next, I'll bring it to him in between, and the next meeting we'll resolve all this and get all our ducks in a row here. So
I think we can make this a real positive thing if we do it right.
Yeah,
All right,
I
good.
agree.
Good. I'm glad you guys wanna. I really, what Eddie's saying is right. If we don't stand up, even though we take a lot of flack, geez, we take too much flack, but and it's kind of discouraging when we have to beg for money. But you know, we're trying to help these people. We're trying to advocate for them. My God, they just don't want to open their eyes to what's happening here. But
This pension thing is a big deal, folks.
it's a big friggin' deal, and I wish they would get on board.
I have one more question, and it may
Yeah.
be irrelevant, but you being a board member for Retirees of Justice isn't going to cause a conflict between the groups, is it?
I'm gonna have to ask Eddie that. I don't think so. I think any subsidy that joins, it's just like, I was just looking at a thing the other day on a corporation that all these people that were chairman of their own boards were on this other board, and it didn't create conflict of interest for them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but I'll ask Eddie that question for sure. So we make sure there is no, God forbid, yeah, give him another reason to complain and say John's trying to make money or something, you know?
Right.
Hey, my God, like I've made money over 7, 8 years, huh, folks?
I
Spending
just love
80.
the idea that we have an attorney, you know,
Yeah,
to help us. guide
I
us.
do too.
Yeah, I think that's a big plus.
I
Yeah.
do too. Eddie's a good guy, and he's sharp, and you know, he tried to warn me about Benestar a long time ago, which I told you guys.
I know you
Hey,
did.
now, we tried to warn you, John. We tried to warn you, what, 2 years ago? And of course, we had a board member pretty much resign because of that.
Yeah,
Yep.
well, Melody, yeah.
And
And it's too bad because all that new shit came out, and his Carpenter's being released. Is he going to take back over the company? His wife's running the business. She was holding his position. Don Trudeau is up for charges now. And I'm saying, oh my God.
well, I knew Trudeau had some problems in the past.
Yeah.
It took him a long time to get Carpenter put in jail.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really sure when he was getting out. But I
I think he
didn't have
got
any
out.
idea that his wife was holding the ball for him. until
Well,
he
you know
got
what,
back.
you know what else was interesting? There was this, what was her name? Not Molly Carpenter's wife's name. It's another carpenter, a woman, that all of a sudden I'm getting a call from Benestar to talk to her about doing the website, redoing the website. And it didn't hit me that the last name was Carpenter. And as we're going along, and then I started thinking about it, I said, wait a minute, they're trying to talk me out of the new website. And her name is Carpenter. And I said, son of a bitch, that's the daughter of the carpenter. I said, they're all in this with Benestar. I said, what
It's a
is
family
going
mafia.
on here? I said, oh my God.
You know what also used to bug me about it is that two things. They never did our comparison.
Yeah.
And then that we never, ever got referrals
Yep, you're right.
from other people,
Those
except
two
that
things.
one lady who I can't remember her name either.
Yep.
Well, I'm sure the way things are going, the prosecutors will be looking at him
Oh,
now
yeah.
that he's been out of jail, and they'll be looking at what he's doing.
Well, don't you guys think that Anthem is probably saying right now, what is going on with this Benestar? And why did GE drop him? Why did the GE retiree group drop them? They have to be thinking that, don't you think?
One would think. One would think they'd reach out to you and ask you.
I know. Remember, they
Well,
canceled the
Towers
meeting.
Watson had to clean up their act too and change their name more
Oh,
or less
yeah.
to be a benefits,
Yeah.
which has gotten better. It actually has gotten better in probably the last 2 years.
Yeah, a little
And,
bit, but now I'm starting to hear a lot of complaints again because they're losing, they can't get people to come. COVID's been part of that too. Can't get workers there and can't get
Yeah.
people trained, and it's been really tough. Yeah, it's not good for Benestar. I don't think it's good for them at all. I don't know how they got that big New York City contract for 270,000 covered lives, but boy, oh boy, you know. After all this stuff came out, that Tom Jones was gonna let it die. If you remember the guy that brought it up, his name was Tom Jones. He wasn't gonna let it die. Yeah. He's almost like, sounds like the mouthpiece for you know who.
Absolutely.
Maybe it's her incognito there.
Yeah, it could be. Maybe there is no real Tom
She's a
Jones.
fake profile.
Yeah. Hey,
Never know.
Kelly.
I've had several of those myself.
Yeah. I've had people contact me, say, "Hey, John, how you doing?" All that, like they're one of you guys, let's say, and I'd say, "Why is this person asking me this kind of question?" And then, and they say, I say, "I'm doing fine," and stuff like that. And then the next message would be, "Hey, have you heard about this new program or plan?" I said, "Oh boy, here we go. They're trying to sell something. They hacked somebody's ID on Facebook. Boom, knock them off." Oh
Yeah.
boy.
The world we live in.
No.
Yeah. All right, folks. So that's all I had. The meeting dates are up there. We'll get the answers to those questions. We'll have Ed there and we'll try to answer all those questions and set a timeline. I'll try to prepare what I can as far as the budget and taking into consideration no website and no liability. If we don't have to, we'll see what Ed's got, blah, blah. And try to have a budget ready and we'll discuss all that at our next meeting. All right. How's that sound? Good?
It's good.
Sounds
Like a
good.
plan.
All right. So can I have a
Good seeing you
motion?
all.
Yeah. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Happy New Year, everybody. And we'll see you at
Happy
the
New
next
Year.
meeting. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. How do I get out of this?
Hit leave meeting.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the meeting damn thing. Where is it? Zoom, there it is. There we go. Stop recording. Oh, you son of a gun.